Hello, I'm David, and I am again sitting in a dark room talking to myself. So, over the past week or so, I've been trying to think about events in my life from childhood into adulthood, and in doing so, I've also tried to define a few life lessons or concepts that have kept coming back to me and that I found useful over time and I think kind of refined. So I just wanted to spend some amount of time here to review these ideas and concepts that I found useful. Maybe you'll find them useful too. Maybe they'll just seem obvious. One thing I keep coming back to is read the manual. It's amazing how much you can solve by just simply reading the manual. I come back to this, it seems like all the time, even this past week, and I find a lot of people skip just reading the source material or the manual. I've also personally had to struggle with the idea of not quitting, more so early in my teens and young childhood. Just the concept of don't quit. And perseverance will usually lead to progress and growth. Even when things seem tough, if you just keep going and get past the hurdle that you're dealing with, life's problems typically have a way of working out. And kind of the idea I've come back to is, you don't get a life without problems. That's just not a thing, no matter who you are or what your circumstances are. If you're lucky, you might get to choose some of your problems that you have to deal with in life, but a lot of them will just kind of be foisted upon you or inherently part of life, no matter what you do. I've also found that, I work in the IT field and technology, and over time I found that technology is really the easy part. Solving technical problems usually has an answer. You can refer back to the manual. But changing hearts and minds of people and working with people just takes a lot of time and patience and perseverance. I've also found that just take a break sometimes. If you're stuck on something, step away from it for a while. Just try and put it out of your mind and do something else. Usually the solution will just come to you after you're not trying to have tunnel vision and focus on banging your head against solving a problem. Sleep on it if you have to. Always ask questions. Never hesitate to ask questions. Curiosity drives learning and understanding, and the more questions you ask to clarify a problem or a situation, the better you can refine what kind of solution and how you're going to apply a solution to a problem. And rather than, using confrontation, try and direct conversations down a path of trying to reach a solution through asking probing questions. And in a way, asking questions can be a good way to persuade and influence people and collaborate to work together for finding a solution, just in general life stuff, personal life, or especially in the workplace. I found it pretty useful to ask questions and try and collaborate with people. And another one would be just collaboration in general. Kind of working in a silo by yourself, isolated, can feel very stifling. So it's good to find somebody or a group of people or your team, or create some kind of learning environment where you can collaborate and share ideas, and try and foster some kind of environment where everybody feels like they have a sense of ownership, for lack of a better word, agency and buy-in to contributing to things and working towards solutions together. I've also found it useful to document everything one thing I found, especially in work life, is people hate documenting things, writing it down. I found that writing things down in a wiki or a notebook, creating mental touch points is useful. It can help you learn new things, recall information. I also personally use it as like a memory dump or a brain dump, so I can just flush things out of my mind at the end of the day or week and not stress out about trying to remember everything. If I need to reference the information, I can always come back to it in a good, easy to find notebook or wiki sort of framework where I can search for things easily or document things. I've just found generally in life it's good to get 3 quotes on anything you do. If you're purchasing stuff from vendors, if you're paying for some sort of a service in your personal life, whether it be, work on a home or a car or purchasing new equipment, just always get 3 quotes, because there can be a large variance in cost, scope, or detail work from one vendor or provider to the next. I found the old business adage, which I think has a more sophisticated name, like the concept of the iron triangle or something, but I've always known it as fast, good, or cheap. You can pick 2. You're probably never going to get all 3, fast, good, and cheap, in whatever solution you try and pick or implement. And honestly, in work life, I found most people try and pick fast or cheap and don't give a whole lot of regard to good. I found that time is our most valuable resource, which I think is kind of obvious, but it seems to become more and more obvious the older I get. And you should try and leverage time as efficiently as possible, because all other resources, you have some hope of getting more things, getting more time, or I'm sorry, getting more money, but more time you're never going to get. We all work with a very finite amount of time, and I don't think any of us really know for certain how much time that is, whether it's natural causes that ultimately take us away, or there's some sort of accident or unforeseen circumstance that pops up. So I try and find ways in life to go about organizing things efficiently, so I have as much or the maximum amount of time as possible, because I'm always running out of it, 1 second at a time. I found that building from as close to base materials as you can is always the cheaper option than trying to get a finished or polished product. However, you kind of have to decide for yourself what it is you want out of any given situation or problem. Do you want to spend the time building from base materials and all of the effort that takes, or do you want to spend the money to get some sort of a more efficient, effective, polished product that's already in place? What really matters to you? I spent a few years in my early 30s working for a car manufacturing company, and they practiced the Toyota way of Kaizen, which is a Japanese philosophy on continuous improvement. And I think one thing working at the manufacturing plant really taught me is the concept that everyone is a genius in some way, shape, or form. But you may have to spend some amount of time trying to figure out exactly in what area and what way the people you work with are geniuses and what they can contribute to things in work or situations, or what you can learn from them. That was a particularly hard lesson for me to learn. I've also learned that the job is never done. Even if you go through continuous improvement, process improvement, if you read the manual, if you get everything right, it really doesn't matter. The job is just never done. At some point, time's going to move forward, things will change, the world around you will change. So you're going to have to go back and do some kind of regular review and adaptation. That's just kind of the way it is. I found, working with people, a lot of times people will think, oh, everything's a task or something, and they start it and finish it, and then it's done, and they don't have to go back and revise it. And I found the opposite is really true. You always constantly have to go back and refresh and renew things. So anyway, that is kind of what I've been thinking about over the past week. What have I learned in terms of lessons over the course of my lifetime now at this point? I think those are a few that really stick out to me lately, so I just wanted to talk about them. And that's really all I have for this week in this video. The rest of this is just kind of going to be a throwback to me playing Dragon Warrior 3, which is Dragon Quest more officially now, but called Warrior in North America. I just played through some of the opening of Dragon Warrior 3, the updated version, the HD 2D version for the Switch and other consoles should be coming out November 14th, I think, or somewhere around there this year. So I've been thinking about that a little, and I just played through it on the old version, on I think it's the Miyoo Mini Plus. So that's all I have. Thanks for listening. Have a good day.